What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna take a look at the all-new generation Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Huge shout out and thank you to Benson, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing this all-new Grand Cherokee for today's video. Check them out, I'll have the website linked down below. So let's get right into this new SUV. And the model that we're looking at today is an Overland 4x4 finished off in velvet red pearl and has an MSRP at $66,000. Underneath the hood, this all-new Overland features the 5.7 liter naturally aspirated 8-cylinder engine. This V8 pumps out 357 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to the standard 8-speed automatic transmission and of course is sending the power to all four wheels. And with a curb weight around 5,200 pounds and running on a 23-gallon fuel tank, you're looking around 14 miles per gallon in the city with 22 out on the highway. Overall towing can get as high as 6,200 pounds, and then for dimensions, the overall length is 204.9 inches with wheelbase at 121.7, height is 71.5, and width is 77.9 inches. If we take a look at the styling with Jeep's all-new Grand Cherokee, this has a really sharp design up front. The Overland gets a lot of chrome trim, which you're going to see in the upper and lower grille surround. We have the traditional 7-bar upper grille like you'll notice in all Jeeps. There's a forward-facing camera right in the center with a sensor over on the right side. You can see the chrome trim going beneath it that cuts its way all the way into the headlights. And then the lower grille surround has more openings to allow cooling to the engine, and you can see more of the chrome trim. We have chrome metal hooks on each side as well, and then 6 parking sensors within the front bumper and your LED fog lights on the farthest side. I really love all the sharp styles of this new front end, and I love the LED daytime running lights with the LED turn signals. They have chrome housings and black trim within these headlights, and they're sunken within this grille to make it look very modern. You can see how the hood rolls over the grille to give it that cleaner look with the Jeep name written out right up front, and there's 2 very sleek body lines on the farthest sides of the hood and a very smooth design in the center just to give it that sleeker up front design. And then moving to the side profile, we get a really nice set of 20-inch wheels in all 4 corners. They're a split 5-spoke design with a machined silver gloss gray. You can see body-colored fender flares as well as a really sharp line going from the headlights cutting through the center of the car all the way to the taillights. It really gives it a much cleaner look than previous generations. You can see the American flag and Grand Cherokee written out on the door and sleek lines in the lower portion with more body-colored trim. I love the side profile of the Grand Cherokee, and now that this L version is a third-row vehicle, you can tell how it's a little bit bigger than the previous generations. It has that boxy look, and yet it's got a lot of smooth lines. We get 2-tone door handles with body-colored and chrome trim, and then gloss black on the mirror caps with an integrated camera as well as the LED turn signal, and there's chrome trim that goes in it and flows its way around the top portion of these windows. I love that design for this SUV, and then all the blacked out trim around the windows makes that roof look like it's floating. I love how you can see the A-pillar finished off in red that goes towards the roof, and it definitely gives us a proportional, stylish side design. Up top on the roof, we have your panoramic sunroof as well as roof rails with the 2-tone chrome and black. And then as we make our way to the rear end, you can see how that chrome piece from the side windows cuts its way down around the rear glass. It gives it a really unique design, and I love the way it looks. We have a body-colored integrated spoiler up top with your third brake light, as well as an integrated camera up here. In the center, we have the Jeep name written out, and then a really nice set of LED taillights. They have a smoked and red housing, and they're sunken into the bodywork to make it look really modern. We have the standard backup camera right in the center, as well as your L logo and 4x4 over on the left with the Overland logo on the right. And then moving our way to the lower portion of the bumper, we have 4 more parking sensors and chrome trim, and you can see your dual exhaust finished off with chrome tip surrounds. So there's a good look at the exterior and some of the specs on the all-new Grand Cherokee L. Definitely a beautiful vehicle. I especially love it in the red. We have Jeep's new key fob. It has Jeep on one side, some chrome trim, and then all of your buttons. If I go ahead and lock the vehicle and then double tap on the engine start stop button, the V8 is going to roar to life. You can already hear it idling just a little bit. Then if I just go ahead and tap the button once, it'll shut off. And then with the vehicle lock, keeping my key in my pocket, I just got to grab the door handle. It'll automatically unlock, and we can check out the Overland's interior. This Grand Cherokee has the global black leather interior. You're also going to see some piano black wood grain trim as well as some silver accents. Taking a look at the door panel now, it's finished off all in black. We have smooth black leather on the armrest with contrast white stitching, your grab handle as well as all of the window controls and mirror controls. We have your aluminum colored release handle with more of that same colored trim, memory seating as well as the massage seat button, and a really nice design for that wood trim. Beneath that, you can see part of the audio system with really cool speaker grills and some storage down below. We get Jeep written out in the door sill, finished off in aluminum, and then all the power controls are on the seat to the left. You can see all the different controls. We even have a button up front that'll extend out the forward leg rest. We have all the back controls as well as lumbar. We have white stitching all around it. Really nice bolsters on the back to give it a more sporty design. And moving our way up, you get Overland stamped into the leather with contrast stitching around the headrest, and spinning around to the steering wheel. It's finished off in black leather with contrast white stitching. There's some black trim and then the wood trim accent. And then now inside, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, we have a full LCD display with your speedometer over on the right, digital speed is in the center, and the tach is to the left. We can control the screen using all the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel. If I go ahead and hit the down arrow now, you can see how it even moves out those gauges to be a little bit smaller. You can see tire pressure information, a few more vitals within the vehicle, and continuing to scroll down, we can see more information. And each of these pages even has a few different screens that will come up. We have all the off-road settings, pitch and roll, which is really cool to see. We have your audio that can come up as well, any messages within the vehicle, screen setup. Then we can go back to your main menu. So I really like all the different screens. You have night vision on it as well. You can see that truck right in front of me. Obviously it's not night out, but it's really cool that this vehicle does have that type of capabilities. Driver's assistance, things like that, and then all of your fuel economy, and back to the main screen we were on. The steering wheel has Jeep written in the center with nice leather and stitching around the airbag. We have all the cruise control settings over on the right side, and a set of steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. We have the wiper blade stalk to the right, and then your high beam flasher and turn signal on the left. Really nice steering wheel, it's extremely luxurious looking. To the left side of the steering wheel now, we have all of your headlight controls. You can see some of that wood trim and leather all around the air vent. You can see more leather going across the dashboard. Heads up display system is right in the center as well. Then you can see more of the black leather and all the stitching. I really love how premium everything looks, more of the wood trim and silver accent. And then moving to this all new screen, we have some buttons up here for hazards, parking sensors, traction control, and the lane keeping. But then the screen itself has a lot of different items that'll come up. We have the climate right now, and you can see how easily I can adjust everything for the temperature. You just swipe your finger on it, changing your zones and everything. It's as simple as that. Heated and ventilated seats, and then the fan speed down below. We have your navigation screen that will come up as well with a nice HD view of everything, pinch to zoom, really nice and easy to use. We have media that can come up on the screen as well with all the different selections, and then tapping the home icon, you can see the main screen. It is configurable with different pages on it. And then tapping your vehicle icon, you can see some settings within the truck. You can see some of your forward-facing camera. If I tap that, you can see right in front of you. We also have a rear view from that top camera that we saw, auto dimming, everything like that. The family camera, very cool to see. You can see the camera pack and lunchbox I have in the back, as well as what your kids are doing in these back rows. So really nice features that you see. You have surround view camera as well. You can see that view, top down on the left, a wide angle front. Definitely a nice feature to see in the new Grand Cherokee. And then below the actual screen, we do have some physical climate control icons. We have the heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, all of the radio controls for mute, volume, fan speeds right in the center, and then all the different zones are beneath that. Definitely an awesome setup for this new Grand Cherokee. I think Jeep did a great job. Up front now, we can tap this, it'll open up. We have a wireless phone charger pad in here, as well as some USB ports and the 12 volt. Behind that, we have your different drive mode selector. We can toggle this up. We have sport, auto, snow, mud, and rock. And when you change everything, it'll even come up on the screen with a little display. So right now we're in rock mode. If I scroll down to snow, you can see the snow, and this active suspension is even lowering or raising depending on which mode you're in. If I go all the way down into the sport mode, you can see that, and of course it'll lower the vehicle. So it's gonna be awesome to drive. You can see the actual suspension icon over on this right side adjusting, and of course you can manually raise and lower the vehicle depending on your terrain. We have 4-wheel low, as well as the brake hold, the gear selector, a downhill assist control, and then right in the center, if I press this open, we have two nice cup holders. Opening up the center now, we have a little bit of storage space in this top compartment, then closing it and grabbing the lower lever. You can see a little bit more space in here. It's actually pretty deep. So you have a lot of nice usable space and a really cool fit and finish for this interior. Moving over to the right side to take a look at the glove box, it opens up just like you would expect. A nice little bucket in there for smaller items. And then one last look at the interior with the all-new Grand Cherokee. Jeep did a great job updating the style. Beautiful fit and finish in here. Definitely like the use of materials and the way everything's designed. And then if we go ahead and take a look at the ceiling, you can see part of the panoramic roof with the sunshade completely closed right now. All the controls are up front. You can see everything right there. And if I go ahead and tap the open button, you can see the sunshade open up. And then moving to the second row seat, if I go ahead and open up the door, the interior door panel is finished off just like we saw up front with all the same nice materials. We even get a manual sunshade, which is a great feature to have in the back of your SUV. Moving inside, we have the same seating material with the smooth black leather and all the perforated leather, and you get the nice white color contrast stitching. You get captain's chairs back here with the adjustable armrests, storage behind each of these front seats, and then moving to the center, we have all of your climate controls with their own air vents, heated seats as well. Then you can even see some more storage down below with USBs, 12 volts, and 2 cup holders. To actually adjust these seats, they do have some cool controls. We have your recline lever right on this left side, and then you can move it forwards and back with the metal bar up front. And then if I pull this handle right here, the seat will slide forward and get up out of the way. Gives you a ton of access to enter the third row. If we go ahead and move our way into the third row, you can see just how much space we have for our feet. We get 2 seats back here, which is a great touch, and they look pretty nice. We do have 2 buttons right here that you can press. Just one quick press of them, they're gonna automatically fold down, so you don't even need to hold the button. Then now you can have the full access to the rear cargo. Sitting now in the second row with the Grand Cherokee L. This is a pretty roomy SUV. I have quite a lot of headroom, and with the panoramic roof opened up, it just lets in so much light. So I'm 5'11" sitting back here. Armrest is in a great place on the left, and of course the one in the center is pretty nice as well. I do have quite a lot of knee room. I have the driver's seat set at my height, got a few inches there, and my feet are fitting nicely. If I grab this lower bar, I can slide the seat back pretty good. Then grabbing this, wow, reclines a pretty good amount as well. So definitely nice and comfortable if you're going on a family road trip or something like that. If I put this back up into a reasonable position, being it has captain's chairs, I can also walk my way right to the third row now. So you don't always have to get completely out. So we have 2 seats back here, and then the headrest will pop up. So not really too many controls back here, but honestly for a full-grown adult, I am sitting back here. My knees with this almost reclined, but not quite, are almost touching. So if this was completely reclined, of course someone like me might be a little compromised, but nonetheless, absolutely a usable set of third row. You have some cup holders, USBs, some air vents as well, and a really cool little Easter egg I'm noticing. There's a little cutout of a Jeep Wrangler on the left side of the window, and there's some more Grand Cherokees and looks like a Wagoneer over on this window. So I like the little attention to detail just to give you something fun in the third row. And then you can see the camera up in the ceiling there. A pretty nice third row vehicle. It's definitely designed for it. It's not just throwing back seats in the older Grand Cherokee. They've made this pretty large to actually fit well. And of course I can just climb back to the front and exit out. Moving on to the rear storage, if I double tap the button on the key fob, the power liftgate is going to automatically open up. There is a button up there as well. So with the third row up, you actually do have a pretty good amount of space in here. You could totally fit a little bit of luggage or some backpacks or something like that. So even with the family all loaded up, I think this is a pretty usable third row. We have a speaker on this left side and your button right here to close this tailgate. And then to the right, we have a little bit of storage and then controls for all of these seats. And I like how they're even labeled second row and third row. So if I go ahead and tap the third row buttons now, just pressing them once and taking my hand off, it'll automatically fold down like you saw from the button on the interior. I really like how quick and easy that is. And with them down, you can see just how much storage space we have in the back of this Grand Cherokee L. And then if I go ahead and tap the second row buttons, it's going to automatically do the same thing for those seats. They'll fold down and you can see how much more storage space we have. If I go through this rear door, we can take a look at the storage space. They fold and lock pretty much flat, and you do have a lot of storage. You of course have some center space where there's no seat, and then space in front. So for the Grand Cherokee L, you have not only a lot of space for people, but a ton of space for cargo. Alright guys, so we are now in the all-new generation Jeep Grand Cherokee L. So for 2021, the L is basically the new full third-row vehicle. For 2022, the addition of the normal Grand Cherokee is now out, and that one is going to be the normal second-row vehicle like we saw in the previous generations. I love this new interior, the toggles, the screen, and everything like that. Really simple to use, beautiful display and everything, and I like how you get all the technology features, especially in the Overland off-road settings. We're going to start off in automatic mode, just normal everything. Do a quick test drive in this. I've driven a lot of the previous generation Grand Cherokees, and I always liked them. I always thought they were up there in the top with a nice family SUV, something that wasn't crazy in size, but had a lot of nice luxury. So I've always liked these. The new styling definitely looks great, and then the interior, the fit and finish, it just looks so good. I think it's really well worth the price tag, especially with all the tech you get. It just feels very high quality. I think Jeep does a good job making their vehicles stylish. So we have the V8 in this, which is actually an option. The standard ones have V6s, so it's nice to see we got a big motor in this. Getting up to speed with the 8-speed in the V8, I mean, that's up to speed without even thinking. Super good power delivery in it. And then coming to a stop, the brakes do a good job bringing this pretty heavy SUV down to a standstill. And while it's not the biggest SUV out there, it's not the new Wagoneer, you still feel like you're pretty up high. I have a good view over everything, huge windshield. I love the dashboard material and the heads-up display. You have a really good view around the front, and then same, looking over your left and right shoulders, you have a pretty good view behind. Getting up a hill now. It's a pretty solid vehicle, especially with the air ride suspension. If I go into the sport mode, throttle response got a little bit sharper, and I believe it'll be lower now with the suspension, but it feels a little bit more snappy. Wow, that V8 packs a punch, and we do have the paddle shifters. They're a little tiny, they look cool from this view, but they're really just a little tiny button back here. But nonetheless, I mean, you're not gonna use them too much in this vehicle. But it's nice to know that even not an SRT model, this one has some nice little sporty touches to it. I don't think most people will be using the sport aspects to this, but if you're really getting on the highway or even towing, I think the sport is going to do a good job making it shift a little bit harder to hold that gear and hold the gear better while you are towing. And since it can tow quite a lot, that's a good feature to have. I also really like just the touches. Everything feels really nice and high quality. The leather is soft. I mean, all the leather actually feels like the same. A lot of cars, they'll put like the fake vinyl in places. This one, it all feels like the same material. While it might not all be real leather, everything that you're touching and looking that has the stitching to it is all the same material. So I think that's a nice plus with the Grand Cherokee. It's pretty cool. I like the gauge cluster as well. You have so many different configurations to it. There are a lot of menus. I'm not the biggest fan that there's like 9 different menus, and each menu has like 5 different pages, but you can see everything you need. The night vision I have on right now, that's crazy to see. I'm sure out at nighttime that would be even cooler. But just having the big digital display, I think that's a nice touch for a modern vehicle. Ride quality and everything, very comfortable and quiet in here. I mean, it's like that luxury vehicle. It's got a lot of the Mercedes touch into it. You know, Daimler-Benz being part of kind of the same company. And you can sense that the Grand Cherokee has the luxuries to it. It's not just another American SUV. I think when you compare the Jeeps to like the Fords and Chevys, I think the Jeeps are a lot nicer. They have the luxury aspect without being a full-on luxury brand. So I think that is a cool touch. But I think that's about it then for the new Grand Cherokee L. Really nice SUV all around. I would put this on my list at the top of things that I would buy when the time comes for an SUV. Huge shout out and thank you once again to Benson Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing this brand new Grand Cherokee L for today's video. Definitely check them out. I'll have their website linked below. These things have so much tech and are just really solid, good to drive SUVs. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video.